In an ancient city stood a majestic yet long abandoned tower. It loomed over the other buildings, its stone walls a reminder of past grandeur. For many years, people had avoided this place, shrouded out in darkness and secrets. It was said that the tower was filled with the ghosts of the past, and that nature itself had tried to hide it under a thick layer of time. The tower was steeped in legends, one of which had been passed down through generations. The locals whispered that if, in the evening, when the sun was about to set, one looked through the tower's sole intact window, they could see something amazing. The window was no ordinary one. It served as a gateway to another world. Through it, one could glimpse another city, shining in the sunset, where every house, every street, and even the roads were made of pure gold. The sight was so mesmerizing that it could make one's heart stop. But the legend did not end there. It was believed that one could not only see the golden city, but also enter it. The entrance was simple. One had to bravely climb through the window and step into the other world. However, there was one condition. You could only take from the golden city what you could carry, and you had to return before the sun had completely disappeared below the horizon. Otherwise, as the old folks said, you would be trapped in that city forever, buried in a golden coffin as a warning to other adventurers. One warm summer evening, as the sky was painted with the bright colors of sunset, a boy walked past that tower. He was about 12 years old, and like many other children, he had heard the stories about the mysterious window. The evening was calm, with only a light breeze rustling through the trees. The sun was setting, casting crimson and golden hues across the sky and land. The tower, bathed in the last rays of sunlight, seemed alive, and a bright light flickered in its window like a beacon. The boy stopped and, drawn by something inexplicable, approached the tower. He reached the window and saw something incredible. Before his eyes lay an entire city glittering with gold. The walls and roofs of the houses appeared to be made of precious metal, and the streets gleamed, reflecting the last rays of the setting sun. The city was deserted and quiet, except for one being, a little girl sitting on the ground, playing with gold ingots as if they were ordinary pebbles. The boy could hardly believe his eyes. His heart raced, and forgetting everything else, he climbed onto the windowsill. The window was wide enough for him to slip through. He carefully stepped over the stone ledge and jumped down onto the soft ground of the golden city. The silence here was almost deafening. Only a gentle breeze rustled the leaves on the trees, and each of his steps echoed through the empty streets. The girl seemed unaware of his presence, continuing to play with the gold ingots. She wore a simple yet beautifully crafted dress that glowed in the golden light. Her hair was long and golden, as if nature itself had decided to match the surrounding splendor. Feeling a strange mix of awe and fear, the boy approached her. He reached out and carefully picked up 2 gold ingots lying right in front of him. The ingots were heavy, but the boy held them tightly, aware of their value. Suddenly, he was overcome by a sense of urgency to return. The sun was setting quickly, and the world around him began to change. Shadows grew longer, and the light took on a sinister hue. He turned and hurried back to the window, but when he reached it, he realized something was wrong. The window no longer showed his home city. Instead, it had become a mirror, reflecting only his frightened face and the golden city behind him. The boy looked around and saw that the girl was now standing beside him. She gazed at him with her large eyes filled with a strange sadness. "You won't be able to return," she said softly, her voice filled with a gentle but unyielding knowledge. "Everyone who came here couldn't go back." The boy felt something break inside him. He tried to climb onto the windowsill again, but his hands trembled and his legs felt heavy. He knew time was running out. "So will I be buried in a golden coffin?" he asked, feeling fear clutching his heart. The girl nodded slowly. "Why are you doing this?" he pleaded. "Are you afraid of the gold? I'll give it back." And he held out the gold ingots, which now seemed cursed to him. The girl gently pushed his hand away. "Not because of the gold," she said. "You came from the dead city, and you are dead, so you must be buried. Dead people don't live with the living." The boy felt cold sweat cover his face. He looked at his hands and, to his horror, saw that they had become gray and withered like a corpse's. He wanted to scream, but only a weak whisper escaped his throat. His body began to slowly stiffen, as if life were leaving him. People began to emerge from the golden houses. They walked slowly but resolutely, all looking at the boy. Their faces were calm, but their eyes were filled with sadness. Two men carried a large golden coffin, shining in the last rays of sunset. "It's a pity you're dead," said the girl, looking at him with sadness. "Otherwise, we could have played together." "But I'm alive," the boy cried, feeling despair engulfing him. "I just need to go back. Let me go. I don't want to die." But the people of the Golden City did not listen. They approached and with silent understanding lifted him, now almost completely petrified, and placed him in the golden coffin. He felt his strength leaving him, and his last breath escaped his lips as the coffin lid was sealed with golden nails. The boy heard the sound of the nails echoing through the city as if it were the final chord of his life. Then came the silence, a heavy, all-encompassing silence that swallowed his consciousness. The Golden City fell back into tranquility, and only deep within one of the streets, near the window leading to another world, the little girl remained. She continued to play with the gold ingots, but now her gaze was fixed on the void, as if she were waiting for something new. The sun had completely disappeared below the horizon, and night enveloped the Golden City in its darkness. But the tower in the old city remained standing in its place, guarding its secrets until the next sunset.